Listen carefully. If you are here right now, there is a reason. Not a loud reason. Not a dramatic reason. Just a quiet pull that brought you here when you didn't know where else to go. Maybe your day looked normal from the outside. You talked to people. You replied to messages. You did what was expected of you. But inside, something felt heavy. Something you can't fully explain. A tiredness that sleep doesn't fix. A silence that feels louder at night. This is not a motivational talk. I'm not here to push you. I'm not here to tell you to be strong or stay positive. I'm here to sit with you. Right here. Exactly as you are. Because feeling lost doesn't mean you failed. It means you reached a point where pretending stopped working. Most people never talk about this part of life. The part where nothing is technically wrong. But nothing feels right either. You wake up, but you don't feel rested. You move forward, but you don't feel progress. You smile, but it feels borrowed. And the worst part? You start questioning yourself. Why am I like this? Why can't I just be normal? Why does everyone else seem to handle life better than me? Let me tell you something important. Something very few people will ever say out loud. You are not broken. You are not weak. You are not lazy. You are overwhelmed in a world that never slows down. A world that expects constant energy. Constant clarity. Constant purpose. But humans were never built for that. You've been carrying thoughts that don't get shared. Questions that don't get answers. Pressure that doesn't get released. And over time, that pressure turns into numbness. You stop feeling excited. You stop feeling hopeful. You stop feeling connected. Not because you don't care. But because caring started to hurt. So your mind did the only thing it knew how to do. It protected you. By shutting things down. If you're listening to this, there's a chance you feel disconnected from yourself. Like you're watching your own life from a distance. Doing things on autopilot. That feeling has a name. It's called emotional exhaustion. And it happens to people who think deeply. People who feel deeply. People who give more than they receive. You didn't lose your way overnight. You slowly drifted. While trying to survive. Every small disappointment. Every unmet expectation. Every time you stayed silent instead of speaking. It all added up. And now you're here, wondering if this is all life is ever going to be. Let me sit with you in this moment and say this clearly. This phase is not the end of you. It's the pause before a shift. Right now, your job is not to fix everything. Not to plan 10 years ahead. Not to suddenly become motivated. Your job is much smaller. Your job is to stay. To breathe through today. To not disappear from your own life. Even listening to this right now is a form of strength. Because part of you still wants relief. Still wants clarity. Still wants peace. That part hasn't died. It's just tired. You don't need a new life. You need rest from the one you're forcing yourself to live. Rest doesn't always mean sleep. Sometimes it means permission. Permission to not have answers. Permission to move slowly. Permission to feel unsure. You've been judging yourself too harshly. Talking to yourself in ways you would never talk to someone you love. Imagine if a friend came to you feeling like this. Lost. Drained. Questioning everything. You wouldn't tell them they're failing. You wouldn't rush them. You would listen. So for a moment. Be that friend to yourself. Nothing is required from you right now. No decisions. No breakthroughs. Just presence. You don't need to know where you're going yet. You just need to know you're allowed to be here. And you are. Sometimes the hardest part is not the pain itself. It's the feeling that no one really sees it. You can be surrounded by people and still feel completely alone. Because loneliness is not about being by yourself. It's about feeling misunderstood, unheard, unfelt. You start realizing that conversations have become shallow. People ask, "How are you?" But they don't wait for the real answer. So you learn to say, "I'm fine," even when you're not. And slowly, very slowly, you stop trying to explain yourself. You tell yourself, "What's the point? They won't get it anyway." That's when the distance begins. Not between you and others, but between you and your own voice. You start losing touch with who you really are. Because you've been too busy being what life demanded. Strong, responsible, available, useful, but never human. No one teaches you how to carry silent pressure. The pressure to succeed. The pressure to not disappoint. The pressure to keep going even when you're empty. You wake up each day with a weight on your chest. Not heavy enough to stop you, but heavy enough to slow you down. And that's dangerous. Because from the outside, you look functional. People think you're okay. So they stop checking in. But inside, you're negotiating with yourself just to get through the day. You tell yourself, "Just get through today. Just finish this task. Just survive this moment." And you do. Again and again. Until surviving becomes your entire personality. You forget what it feels like to feel excited without guilt. To rest without anxiety. To exist without constantly proving something. At some point, you stop dreaming. Not because you don't want more, but because wanting started to hurt. Hope became exhausting. So you told yourself, "Maybe this is it. Maybe this numb version of me is all that's left." But listen to me carefully now. Numbness is not emptiness. It's overload. It's your mind saying, "I can't process any more right now." You didn't lose your depth. You buried it to protect yourself. And buried things don't disappear. They wait. They wait for safety. They wait for space. They wait for permission to breathe again. You are not falling behind in life. You are carrying more than most people can see. And that invisible weight counts. The fact that you keep showing up. Even when you feel disconnected. Even when motivation is gone. Even when joy feels distant. That matters. You don't need to become someone new. You need to come back to yourself. And that doesn't happen all at once. It happens in small quiet moments. Like this one. Moments where you stop running. And allow yourself to feel without judgment. You don't need to have a big purpose right now. You don't need to know your next move. Life is not asking you for answers. It's asking for honesty. Honesty with yourself. Are you tired? Or are you burned out? Are you unmotivated? Or are you emotionally drained? Are you lost? Or are you just overstimulated by expectations that were never yours? Sometimes clarity comes not from thinking harder, but from letting go. Letting go of timelines. Letting go of comparisons. Letting go of the version of you that was created just to survive. You are allowed to slow down. Even if the world keeps rushing. You are allowed to rest. Even if others don't understand. Healing doesn't look dramatic. It looks quiet. It looks boring. It looks like choosing yourself when no one is watching. And that choice, repeated daily, changes everything. You are not behind. You are recalibrating. You are not weak. You are worn out. And worn out people don't need pressure. They need gentleness. Stay here with me for a moment longer. You don't need to rush back into noise. There is nothing wrong with you. There never was. And now, after all of this, after the wait and the silence, there is a space that belongs to you alone. A space where nothing is required. Where no one is watching. Where you don't have to perform. Or explain. Or justify. This is the moment to breathe. Truly breathe. And acknowledge everything you've carried. You've carried more than you think. More than anyone else can see. And yet here you are. Still standing. Still listening. Still trying. That is courage. Not the loud kind. Not the kind that demands applause. But the quiet kind. The kind that whispers. I'm still here. Even when no one notices. And that whisper matters. More than you realize. Your mind might still race. Your heart might still ache. Your body might still feel tired. And that is okay. Because healing is not sudden. It is a gentle current. Pulling you toward balance. Slowly. Patiently. Without pressure. You don't need to rush. You don't need to fix everything. You don't need to perform for anyone's approval. The very fact that you are still trying. That you are still present. That you are still willing to face another day. That is enough. Even if today feels meaningless. Even if yesterday still haunts you. Even if tomorrow seems unclear. You are allowed to exist. Without proving yourself. Without earning someone else's respect. Without forcing happiness. Start by listening to yourself. Not your fears. Not your expectations. Not the world's noise. Just you. Your quiet voice. Your honest thoughts. Your true feelings. And little by little, things will shift. The heaviness will ease. The tension will soften. The moments of clarity will grow. And you will remember that you are not defined by exhaustion. Not by doubt. Not by silence. You are defined by persistence. By the quiet courage of showing up. By the strength it takes to be human. Even when it hurts. So tonight, if you are alone. Or if you feel unseen. Or if the world seems too loud. Sit with yourself. Breathe. Allow yourself this time. Because you are exactly where you need to be. In this moment. Just as you are. And tomorrow. Or the next day. Or the day after that. You will carry a little more light. A little more hope. A little more strength. And that is enough. That is more than enough. Keep going. Not because someone is watching. Not because you must. But because you owe it to yourself. And that alone is everything.